Cheese. Just the word might make you think of greasy pizzas, heavy casseroles, or indulgent snacks that doctors warn you to avoid. Too fatty, too salty, too rich. For years, cheese has been cast aside as a guilty pleasure, something that might taste good, but surely isn't doing your aging body any favors. But what if that assumption is wrong? What if, tucked away behind the stereotype, certain cheeses hold an extraordinary secret, one that could rebuild your muscles, restore your strength, and help you maintain your independence far into your 70s, 80s, and beyond? What if I told you that 3 specific cheeses, simple, everyday ones, contain exactly the kind of nutrients your aging muscles crave? That inside your fridge, possibly right now, lies a food more powerful than supplements, more accessible than workouts, and more enjoyable than any protein drink on the market. I'm Dr. Samuel Hayes. For over 30 years, I've worked alongside older adults, people in their 60s, 70s, even 90s, who feared losing their strength, their mobility, and their independence. And time and again, I've seen how simple changes, especially in diet, can spark profound transformations in energy, confidence, and quality of life. Today, I want to share a discovery that has quietly changed the lives of many of my patients. You see, muscle loss after 65, also known as sarcopenia, isn't just common, it's almost universal, but it's also highly preventable, and in many cases, reversible. The surprising key: cheese. Not just any cheese, but 3 in particular that are loaded with the specific proteins, amino acids, and nutrients your muscles need to stay strong. In this video, we'll walk through how cottage cheese, parmesan, and ricotta, yes, ricotta, can help you build and preserve muscle, especially as you age. I'll guide you through the science, the timing, and the simplest ways to enjoy these foods in your daily routine. So if you're ready to take back control of your strength, if you want to feel steadier on your feet, climb stairs with more confidence, and live with less fear of falls, then grab a pen. Because what I'm about to share might just reshape the way you think about aging and about cheese. Shall we begin? Let's begin with a food most people overlook: cottage cheese. Mild, creamy, simple. It doesn't demand attention, and yet for adults over 65, it quietly carries some of the most powerful muscle-building potential of any food on your plate. When I first mention cottage cheese to my patients, many of them raise an eyebrow. Isn't that just a bland diet food from the 1980s? Something people force themselves to eat when trying to lose weight? That's the image it's carried for years. But the truth is far more remarkable. Half a cup of low-fat cottage cheese delivers around 14 grams of high-quality protein and only 81 calories. That means nearly 70% of its calories come from protein. But it's not just the amount that matters, it's the kind. Cottage cheese is rich in casein protein, a type of slow-digesting protein that feeds your muscles steadily over 6 to 8 hours. For older adults, this slow release of amino acids helps prevent the nighttime muscle breakdown that often accelerates with age. Cottage cheese also contains over 1 gram of leucine per serving. Leucine is the key amino acid that activates muscle growth. It's the ignition switch your body needs to begin repairing and building muscle tissue. And here's what makes that so critical for aging adults. As we get older, our muscles become less responsive to protein. They need more leucine at each meal to trigger growth. Most experts agree that older adults need about 3 grams of leucine at each meal to get a meaningful muscle-building response. 1 serving of cottage cheese gets you about 1/3 of the way there, and that's before you've added anything else to the meal. What I love about cottage cheese is how gentle it is. Many of my patients find meats too tough to chew or simply lose their appetite for heavy foods. Cottage cheese is soft, it's cool, it goes down easily. You can eat it plain, you can mix it with fruit, you can blend it into smoothies. You can even use it as a creamy base for dips or salad dressings. The benefits don't stop with digestion. Cottage cheese works beautifully before bed. While you sleep, your body naturally breaks down muscle to fuel basic functions. But if you have a small serving of cottage cheese an hour before bedtime, the casein protein releases slowly throughout the night, providing your muscles with steady nourishment while you rest. Think of it like having a silent muscle guardian standing watch while you sleep. I once worked with a woman named Martha. She was 72, recently widowed, and losing weight without trying. Her meals were small, her energy was low, her legs felt weak just walking across the kitchen. We didn't overhaul her diet or send her to the gym. We simply added half a cup of cottage cheese to her breakfast and another half cup with an afternoon snack. That was it. In 6 weeks, she regained 4 pounds of muscle and started walking to the mailbox again without hesitation. Her confidence returned along with her strength. That's the kind of transformation a small, consistent change can create. Research supports this too. Studies involving hundreds of older adults show that regular consumption of cottage cheese can help restore lean muscle mass, even in those who aren't very active. The key is consistency. Just like taking a daily vitamin, your body benefits most when you give it steady support, not occasional bursts. So what's the best way to begin? Start with breakfast. After a night of fasting, your muscles are primed to receive protein. Add cottage cheese with fruit for a light, sweet start to your day. If you prefer savory, combine it with tomatoes, cucumbers, and herbs like dill. If the texture isn't to your liking at first, blend it into a smoothie with banana and berries. The flavor disappears, but the nutrients remain. Most people do well with half a cup to a full cup daily. It's enough to make a real difference without feeling like a chore. The important thing is to find a way you enjoy it, because the foods that heal us must also feel good to eat. And that's what makes cottage cheese so special. It's not loud, it doesn't shout for attention, but in its quiet simplicity, it holds the power to protect your strength, support your independence, and nourish your body through the later chapters of life. Now, let's turn to a cheese you probably already have in your kitchen, though you may have never thought of it as a health food: Parmesan. It's the cheese we often sprinkle lightly over pasta or soup without much thought, adding flavor, not nutrition. But behind its salty, nutty taste lies a powerful secret. Parmesan is one of the most concentrated, efficient muscle-building foods you can eat, especially as you age. Just 1 ounce of Parmesan, roughly the size of your thumb, provides over 10 grams of complete protein. That's an extraordinary number for such a small serving. For older adults who often eat smaller meals or have difficulty finishing larger portions, this kind of density is a gift. It means you can get a significant amount of muscle-supporting nutrition in just a few bites. But Parmesan's power doesn't stop with protein. What makes it truly unique is what happens during its aging process. Authentic Parmesan, or Parmigiano Reggiano as it's called in Italy, is aged for at least 2 years. During that time, natural enzymes slowly break down the complex proteins into smaller, more digestible fragments. It's as if the cheese has already done part of the digestive work for you. That's incredibly important for older adults, many of whom struggle with slower or more sensitive digestion. In fact, aged Parmesan contains virtually no lactose. After 2 years, the bacteria involved in the fermentation process have consumed nearly all of it, so even if you're lactose intolerant, chances are you can eat Parmesan without discomfort. Many of my patients who feel bloated after eating other cheeses or dairy find that Parmesan sits gently and comfortably in their system. But there's more. Parmesan is not just a protein source, it's also one of the richest natural sources of calcium. 1 ounce gives you around 330 milligrams of calcium, about a quarter of your entire daily need. And while calcium is often associated with bones, your muscles need it too. Every single muscle contraction, from lifting your leg to taking a breath, depends on calcium. Without enough, your muscles simply don't function as well, no matter how much protein you're getting. Recent studies have shown that older adults with low calcium intake face a significantly higher risk of losing muscle mass. That means Parmesan doesn't just help you build muscle, it also supports the minerals that allow those muscles to contract and move effectively. It's a full circle food: protein for growth, calcium for function, all in one bite. Now you may be thinking that real Parmigiano Reggiano is expensive. And yes, compared to a block of cheddar, it might seem that way at first glance. But because it's so concentrated in nutrients and flavor, you only need a little. 1 to 2 ounces per day is enough to make a meaningful impact. And when you grate it fresh, the taste is so rich that even a tablespoon or two can transform an entire meal. In the long run, its cost per nutrient is actually quite efficient. So how can you use it? You don't need to reinvent your meals. Add freshly grated Parmesan over your scrambled eggs at breakfast. That simple combination delivers over 20 grams of protein and a satisfying start to your day. At lunch, sprinkle it over a bowl of vegetable soup or a fresh salad. The savory depth of flavor can make lighter meals feel more substantial. At dinner, top roasted vegetables like broccoli or cauliflower with a generous grating. The heat melts the cheese just slightly, creating a savory finish that feels indulgent but supports your health. Some of my patients even keep small chunks of Parmesan in their fridge for snacking. Just a few bites alongside some almonds or fruit can become a high-protein, high calcium mini meal. And remember, this isn't processed cheese from a green can. We're talking about authentic, aged Parmesan, often sold in wedges with a rind marked by small dotted letters. That rind is your guarantee of quality, tradition, and nutritional density. Parmesan is the opposite of flashy. It's been made the same way for hundreds of years, using just 3 ingredients: milk, rennet, and salt. And in that simplicity, it carries a wisdom that aligns beautifully with healthy aging. Small portions, deep nourishment, consistent presence. In the end, Parmesan isn't just something to enhance your food, it's a food that enhances your strength. A quiet but powerful ally in your journey to stay steady, strong, and independent as you age. If Parmesan is the concentrated warrior and cottage cheese the steady protector, then ricotta is the quiet first responder. Light, creamy, and often used in desserts or lasagna, ricotta cheese might seem like the least serious of our trio. But make no mistake, when it comes to rebuilding muscle quickly after activity, ricotta delivers something the others cannot: speed. Ricotta is made from whey, the liquid left behind after milk has been curdled and strained during the cheese-making process. What most people don't know is that whey protein is the fastest absorbing form of protein you can eat. While casein and cottage cheese takes hours to digest, whey and ricotta begins feeding your muscles within 30 to 60 minutes. That window matters, especially as you age. Here's why. When you move your body, even in small ways like walking around the block or working in the garden, your muscles enter a brief period of heightened sensitivity. They become like sponges, ready to absorb nutrients and rebuild stronger. But the window doesn't stay open for long. That's where ricotta shines. Its fast absorption means it can reach your muscles while they're still responsive, delivering the amino acids they need at exactly the right moment. Just half a cup of whole milk ricotta gives you around 14 grams of protein, similar to cottage cheese, but with a slightly different amino acid profile. Ricotta is particularly rich in what scientists call branched-chain amino acids, or BCAAs, special building blocks that bypass the liver and go directly to your muscles, where they begin the repair process right away. It's like having a direct pipeline from your plate to your muscle cells. And then there's the texture. Ricotta is incredibly smooth, creamy, and mild. For older adults who struggle with chewing or swallowing, ricotta is a godsend. It slides down easily, doesn't require seasoning, and blends effortlessly into both sweet and savory dishes. It's also naturally lower in sodium compared to many other cheeses, only around 100 milligrams per half cup, making it a great choice for those monitoring blood pressure or heart health. In one study involving older adults, participants who ate about 3/4 of a cup of ricotta daily not only gained muscle mass, but also showed measurable improvements in balance and mobility tests. The men in the study in particular saw significant gains in strength in just 90 days. These results were not based on supplements or medications, just consistent intake of this soft, mild cheese. And the benefits don't end with muscle. Because of its whey content, ricotta has also been shown to help lower blood pressure and improve overall cardiovascular health. That makes it a dual-purpose food, one that supports both your muscular system and your heart. For older adults looking to do more with less, that kind of efficiency is invaluable. Now, how do you use ricotta in everyday life? That's the beauty of it. It fits almost anywhere. For breakfast, try spreading it on whole grain toast with a drizzle of honey and a dash of cinnamon. It's creamy, satisfying, and it feels like a treat. At lunch, you can mix it with herbs and use it as a base for dips or sandwich spreads. For dinner, it works beautifully stuffed into vegetables like bell peppers or zucchini, layered into casseroles, or mixed into pasta sauces to create a creamy texture without the heaviness of cream. And yes, even dessert is fair game. Blend ricotta with cocoa powder and a touch of honey for a healthy, protein-rich chocolate mousse, or mix it with fresh berries for a light but nourishing sweet dish. When buying ricotta, go for whole milk versions with minimal ingredients. Look for labels that list just milk, vinegar, or citric acid and salt. Avoid overly processed varieties or those with stabilizers and gums. You want the real thing, simple, pure, and ready to nourish. And timing once again matters. The best time to eat ricotta is within 2 hours after any kind of physical activity, no matter how light. Even a short walk, a few squats, or some gentle housework counts. Pairing that movement with a quick-acting protein like ricotta amplifies your body's natural ability to rebuild and protect its muscle tissue. Ricotta may not have the fame of cheddar or the complexity of blue cheese, But what it offers is something even more important: accessibility, comfort, and rapid support. It meets your body where it is, especially in a stage of life where digestion is slower, recovery takes longer, and every bite matters more. And that's why ricotta earns its place beside Parmesan and cottage cheese in this journey. Because building strength after 65 isn't about lifting heavy weights or eating like a bodybuilder. It's about making smart, sustainable choices. Foods that work with your body, not against it. And ricotta, soft and unassuming, is one of the smartest you can make. Now that you know which cheeses to eat, let's talk about something just as important: when and how to eat them. Because as powerful as cottage cheese, Parmesan, and ricotta are, their true potential is only unlocked when you align them with your body's natural rhythms. For older adults, that alignment begins with the first meal of the day. For decades, many of us were taught that dinner should be the largest meal. But when it comes to muscle building after 65, that approach doesn't serve us well. Here's why. After sleeping for 8 to 10 hours, your body wakes up in a fasting state. It has spent the entire night breaking down muscle tissue for energy. Breakfast isn't just a time to fill your stomach. It's the moment your body decides whether to continue losing muscle or to start rebuilding it. That's why breakfast should be your most protein-rich meal of the day. Not toast and coffee, not a banana on the run, but a real muscle-supporting meal with at least 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein. And this is where our three cheeses become so valuable. A breakfast of cottage cheese mixed with fruit, topped with freshly grated Parmesan, gives you over 24 grams of protein and a rich spectrum of amino acids. Add a slice of whole grain toast or some nuts, and you've created a meal that tells your body, it's time to build, not break down. But timing isn't just about the morning. Many older adults follow what I call the light-heavy pattern: small breakfast, small lunch, large dinner. Unfortunately, your body can only use so much protein at once. Studies show that your muscles can absorb and use about 25 to 35 grams of protein per meal for muscle synthesis. If you try to make up for a protein-poor morning with a massive dinner, most of that protein goes unused. It's like trying to water a dry plant by dumping a bucket of water on it all at once. The roots can only take in so much. The rest just runs off. The ideal approach is to evenly distribute your protein intake throughout the day. That means aiming for 3 solid meals, each with at least 25 grams of protein, ideally spaced about 4 to 6 hours apart. If one of those meals includes cheese as the primary protein source, even better. Cheese doesn't just add grams, it adds variety, flavor, calcium, and digestibility. And then there's post-activity timing. Whenever you do something active, whether it's walking, gardening, light stretching, or even cleaning the kitchen, your muscles become especially receptive to protein. That's your golden window. Within 2 hours after movement, your body is primed to absorb and use amino acids for repair. This is the perfect time for a small bowl of ricotta with cinnamon, or a few chunks of Parmesan with apple slices, or even half a cup of cottage cheese with berries. It doesn't take much, but it does take consistency. You can't eat cheese once or twice a week and expect dramatic changes. The research is clear. The people who see the biggest improvements in strength, balance, and energy are the ones who eat muscle-supporting foods daily for at least 60 to 90 days. Just like you wouldn't expect one glass of water to keep you hydrated all week, one high-protein meal won't reverse years of muscle loss, but a series of steady, well-timed meals absolutely can. So look at your schedule. Find the meals where protein is missing or too light. That's where cheese fits. Maybe breakfast has been your weakest link, or maybe lunch is rushed and unbalanced. Let cheese fill in those gaps, not as a side note, but as a central tool for renewal. And if you're already doing some light activity during the day, even better. Pair that motion with nutrition, and you create what scientists call a synergistic effect, where the impact of food and movement together is greater than either one alone. When you wake up tomorrow morning, ask yourself, have I given my body what it needs to rebuild? If the answer is no, open the fridge, reach for the cottage cheese, and begin. That small act might be one of the most powerful things you do for your body this year. You've learned the science, you understand the timing, you know which foods work. But now, I want to speak to something deeper, because nutrition isn't just about grams and meals. It's about how you feel in your body and in your life. And for many older adults, that feeling has quietly been shifting. Maybe your legs don't feel as steady as they used to. Maybe you avoid stairs now. Maybe you hesitate before reaching for something on a high shelf or walking alone at night. These aren't just physical changes, they're emotional ones, and they slowly shape how we see ourselves. Less capable, less confident, more dependent, but it doesn't have to be that way. Strength is not just for the young. Muscle is not reserved for athletes. You can rebuild even in your 70s, 80s, and beyond. And you don't need to change your whole life to do it. You don't need to start lifting weights or following strict meal plans. You just need to begin with small, steady actions that compound over time. A scoop of cottage cheese with breakfast, a sprinkle of parmesan on your lunch, a spoonful of ricotta after a walk. These are not grand gestures, but they are meaningful ones, and when done consistently, they create real change. I've seen it happen. I've seen men and women who thought they were too far gone discover a new energy in their steps. I've watched them stand up from chairs more easily, move with more confidence, and even return to activities they thought they had given up forever. Not because they did something heroic, but because they did something honest. They showed up for themselves every day in small ways. This is about your independence, your dignity, your ability to live on your terms, to garden, to cook, to dance, to hold your grandchild and walk across the room without fear. This is about adding life to your years, not just years to your life. And the foods you choose, the timing you follow, the attention you give your body, all of that speaks to how much you still believe in your own strength. So let this be your quiet revolution. You don't need to tell anyone what you're doing. Just do it. Tomorrow morning, open your fridge. Make that small plate. Feed your body, then do it again the next day. Not because you have to, because you can. So now, you know the truth. The kind of truth that hides in plain sight. That 3 simple cheeses, cottage, parmesan, and ricotta, can do something most people never expect. They can help you rebuild what age tries to take away. They can protect the strength in your legs, the stability in your step, the confidence in your movements, not through magic, not through effort, but through nourishment, rhythm, and trust. Each of these foods offers something unique. Cottage cheese with its steady, gentle support, parmesan with its compact intensity and rich mineral strength, ricotta with its softness and speed rushing in just when your body needs it most, and together they form a team, a quiet, reliable daily trio, one that fits into your morning, your lunch, your evening, one that meets you where you are, not demanding more, but offering more. If you've made it this far, I want you to pause, not just to think, but to notice. Notice how this information makes you feel, not overwhelmed, not guilty, but hopeful, because everything we've talked about is possible, and everything we've shared can begin today. And what comes next? In our next video, we'll go deeper into another overlooked but powerful food group, nuts and seeds, and how they not only complement muscle building, but also protect your heart, improve brain function, and stabilize blood sugar naturally. Many of the same principles you've learned today apply, but the benefits reach even further. If you've ever wondered whether foods like almonds, walnuts, chia, or flax have a real role in healthy aging, the answer is yes, and the science is compelling. But for now, let today be the start. Start with one cheese, one meal, one commitment to treating your muscles with the care and fuel they deserve. You don't have to do it all. You just have to begin. Your body will listen, your muscles will respond, and your future self will thank you for it.